again, this could be you can adjust this tape job depending on where the aggravation is in the longitudinal arch. I mentioned in class that if these short plantar ligament and the spring ligament are being stretched and the arch is falling, then you're going to get the pain right up in there where those two ligaments are. And if that's where we need the support, then I would run my tape from the first MTP joint back to the first MTP joint. So most of the tape is over here on the medial side. And that would be called a tape job for the medial longitudinal arch. The other condition that is helped by this type of tape job is plantar fasciitis. And plantar fasciitis starts right in the middle of the arch and starts moving forward here. So on this one, we go from the fifth around the heel and back to the first. And that puts the crisscross, or the interlocking of the strips, right in the middle of the arch, and that's where we need the support. If they did have an arch issue on the lateral side, which I've never seen, then I would go fifth to fifth, like that. So you can play with this one depending on where the issue is. So I'll do first to first, and now I'm starting and stopping on the bottom. Okay, remember the lodi was on the sides. The longitudinal arches start and finish on the bottom. And it's a good idea when to make a measurement and then hang 3 strips, so you're not having to take the time to tear everything off. Rush. So now I'm in order to make this arch go up, which he certainly doesn't need a cat's foot, but if I wanted this arch to go up, then if you think of a stick, if I take 2 ends of a stick and push the ends towards each other, the middle bows of the stick goes up in the air. So that's exactly what you want to do here. I'm going to take my finger and shove the first MTP joint back like that. And I'm going to take the tape and pull it forward. So I pull the 2 ends towards each other, and the arch will pop up. So just stay off the bottom, but just wrap your thumb and your fingers on that first MTP joint and go straight back with it. Pull on the tape and stick it on the bottom. And again, this should be nice and tight. And these are too narrow for this foot. This one's loose. Don't care about that one. This is the one where my tension is happening. And then I just overlap these a little bit. I don't have to be as careful in positioning, but I want to make sure I'm on the bottom. But there isn't really too much that I can do to mess this one up. See, they get a little bit loose sometimes, but that's okay, because it will all stretch out eventually. Across the very edge. And once I get these 3 strips on, then I can again pull them in, and I would finish it off exactly the same as I did with the lodi. Use full width strips up into the medial arch. Working forward. So let's those are there. See how these are all starting, they've kind of spread, but I can even get this one over here a little bit more and get more on that first. Let's see. I could probably have gotten a bit more over onto here and spread it right across the bottom, but they're it goes this way, so I get a straight line pull to the first MTP joint. And then, if it was plantar fasciitis, this is a complete crisscross. So if it's plantar fasciitis, then I would start on the fifth, come across, around the heel, and back to the first way. And then push back on the first, pull on the tape, and stick it on. And again, I would work 3 of those across with a slight overlap. And now you can see that the crisscross is right in the middle of the arch, and that's where you want the strength. And this, when the overlap, you'll have an interlocking area pretty much as wide as the arch is over there. So they can see. See the interlocking and those things, and you want to overlap it a bit this way and that way so that you wind up with a bigger area. So this one is called the medial longitudinal arch. The other one was medial. This is the middle of the longitudinal arch, as opposed to first, which is the medial. Now, in some taping manuals and things, they start with an anchor right around the metatarsal heads, because you have to put them on the MTP joints. They will start with an anchor here. With the longitudinal arch tape jobs, I don't use them here, and the reason because the person is standing on these things, and it's going to keep them stuck on the foot. But the lodi, where it's on the side, there's only the pressure from the walls of your shoe or your boot, and there could be a greater tendency for those to pop off, and therefore a greater perhaps reason for putting on a anchor around the metatarsal heads. But remember when we did the closed basket leaf tape job, I said don't put any tape within an inch and splay the metatarsal heads and stay away from these heads. So now I have to actually go right around them. There's no point in putting an anchor back here because it's going to be on there. So I really do have to put my anchor right around those metatarsal heads. So if I want to use an anchor there, then I've got to get my subject to stand on the tape. So just get to stand up for a second. And what I would, just get him to lift the front of his foot up like that, and then I'll position my tape here. And then he has to put all his weight on it like that. And then I can just lay this tape on here, like that. And then he gets back on the table. And that, you can see it's goofy, wrinkly. Wrinkles everywhere. It looks horrible. But the bottom is tight on the bottom here. And you know, this I can tighten this up a little bit. The wrinkles are not going to cut because of the callus pad along the side of the foot here. It's not going to get tape cuts for it, but I know that this is going to allow maximum splaying of his foot. It's not going to interfere with the function of his foot. And then I would put my lodi on and then get back on the floor again and tape it off on top. Whenever you put a skin anchor on, you do your tape job on the anchor, and then you anchor it off again at the end. I would do it the same way, get them to stand on the tape and put the ends in.
For the medial and the middle, which did you push up on? Which metatarsals did you push up on?
Neither. The manipulation of the transverse arch is the lodi tape job. And then that's on the sides of the fifth and first. The longitudinal arches go on the bottom. First is the medial side. Fifth to first is the middle.
First to first is where you did the stick then, right?
Yeah, you do it with both of them.
Oh.
Yeah, because even with plantar fascia, you're trying to pull those together and take the tension off the plantar fascia. Yeah. Okay.
One.
Good, so there you go. A few more of those.